All right, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's take a look at the most recent update.
Yeah. So we have here, so there are, like I said here, it's good progress. I do have able to go through a lot of things to fix. So I write it down everything I did. So first of all, we went through the thickness of this. You said 3 millimeters. The Swiss cheese cutting, the bigger size close to the main capacitor, the smaller outside, and this one how the assembly is. So the thickness, which is a major concept, has been changed. What this now everything minimum 3 millimeters. Uh,
Excellent.
so
Except that the outer octahedrons, you haven't made them 3 millimeters yet, have you?
yes, not yet, but the one of the thing actually when if you cut this one here, I call it the Russian toy here. I
Yeah, the
do
Russian
have,
nesting dolls.
yeah, I do have a cable able to do two, but this one the minimum thickness is 2 millimeter here.
Okay, so we want to have 7 with all of them each having 3 millimeter thickness. So what you can do is just expand the whole design.
Okay, that's okay for you if I can do that.
Yeah, just I think we set our initial goal at 3 inches. As long as it doesn't get bigger than I think like 5 inches, it's fine. If it's like between 3 to 5, leaning
No, no,
towards
I
three,
mean
that's fine.
the outer diameter will be changed
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I need more
As
room.
long as it's not because like okay, let's do the math, right? It's 3 millimeters times 7, so that's 21 millimeters plus
Yes.
the outer octahedrons. There's 3 layers for those at 3 millimeters, so that's 9. So 21 plus 9, it's going to be 30 millimeters max growth, which is what in inches.
Yeah, I'm good with that 1 millimeter.
Okay,
So
so the total design change, the whole diameter after you add the outer layering, which it's three
so three
millimeters.
millimeter, 30 millimeter will be 1.18 inches.
Yeah, plus then extra 3 millimeters for when you add the outer layering.
Yeah,
So yeah, I don't think it's going to be
big
more
issue.
than four plus inches, maybe slightly. It's going to be like 4.2 inches, something like that.
Yeah, it's still doable for any printer at this moment.
Yeah, as long as it's less than
Six
I
inches.
think no, our max for the kiln is 5 inches, I think. So
Okay.
as long as it's a little bit less than 5, we'll be okay for the
Okay.
kiln. So try to aim for like 4.2 inches if possible. And
Okay.
then I made you a list of everything. Can I just run
Yes.
through it?
I
Or do you have any questions first?
Yeah, just like I said here, the obstacle I am killing one by one. Um, so the one of the thing actually you can see here, this one it changed, become cutting tube as you said.
Mhm.
So this one is fixed. Still I
And
have
then the outer hole is not touching each other, right?
no,
Okay, perfect.
the outer hole doesn't touch each other, no.
Okay, great. And then yeah, of course, the C-shaped electromagnets. You might have to change those dimensions when you add the copper winding because that's going to be like 2 or 3 millimeters thickness.
This
So
one
you
3 millimeter.
yeah, because around that C-shaped magnet, it's going to be if you look up electromagnets, it's an iron core and then there's copper winding around it, and you're making the copper winding because we're printing copper in the printer. So it's like 2 or 3 millimeter thickness tube going around the C-shaped electromagnet. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yes,
Okay, so yeah, feel free to expand everything if you need more space. Just make
okay.
sure to keep it under that 5-inch total
Okay, good.
diameter.
Okay. What about
Um,
the syringe idea of the sealing?
yeah, what was it like 0.3 millimeter differential, something like that? Um,
I mean,
we might have to tweak it a little bit as we start testing when we're printing. We'll print the whole design in plastic first and just see if it spins well. And
okay,
then we'll just like make sure it's like 0.3 millimeters thickness separation. Because like remember, the outer hole is spinning, the inner hole is spinning, and all of these royal blue octahedrons are spinning. So each one of those needs a spinning mechanism.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah. So keep that in
Well,
mind.
yeah.
You might have to change when you expand everything. The first thing I do is add the Rodin coil, add the Starship coil, and add the dodecahedron to the Rodin coil in the center at the top, because then you know where to point the royal blue octahedrons. Because remember, the royal blue octahedrons are pointing directly to the center of the dodecahedron, which is slightly above the outer hull.
Okay. This
So
one
that,
here.
yeah, that will point to slightly above the outer hull. See where the green circle is? It's slightly above
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Let me go cut section cut in this and see how.
Yeah. So the first thing I do is because that's the easiest thing, right? You just copy paste a Rodin coil, copy paste a hollow dodecahedron, and put that on the top. That would be your first thing. Then do the same thing with the Starship coil underneath.
This
And
one
then you want,
45-degree.
yeah, so it has to be a 45-degree angle
Yes.
towards the dodecahedron. Yes.
Okay.
So you see it might have to shift a little bit, and then you might have to extend the C-shaped electromagnet so it crosses over the northern and southern hemispheres. Do you see how that's all coming together? Do you
Yeah.
understand like how this works? Like, are you starting to understand like the geometry and the
Yeah,
electricity of it?
I reviewed the like I say, I reviewed the videos which you sent it to me. I'm be honest with you, I'm digesting the ideas, but in the
Yeah.
meantime, the major goal, I want to speed the process to get something to start with research, R&D, something in our hand to
Yeah,
start
we need to get a finalized prototype so we can start spinning. So here's what I did for you. Let me share my screen now.
Okay.
I made it as easy as I could for you. Let me
Yeah.
do this share screen. Can you see that all right?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll text this to you, but I listed out everything that you still need to do. So you need to add the outermost aluminum hull, which is like let me put 3 millimeters for you. And I just estimated how much each thing should take. That shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. You just do a hollow compressed octahedron, and that's the outermost design of the entire build. That outer layering, we're calling it, is the outermost design. That's going to be like this, how it's like a compressed octahedron. Like it's a compressed down. Kind of like, you always see those like flying saucer videos. It's kind of like that, but it's a compressed octahedron.
Okay.
Okay, so that's one that shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. Next is add the Starship coil to the bottom of the outer hull. You
Yeah, I
remember the
do
outer
have
hull?
that already.
Okay, great. So the Starship coil, remember, the outer hull has to spin freely. So the Starship coil is only mounted to the outer layering. And make sure the mounting points, it's not touching the outer layering, because they're going to be two separate materials. The outer layering is aluminum and the coil is copper. So the mounting points need to be zirconium. So however you do that, just make sure they're thick enough, like you could do like a circle that's like 3 millimeter thickness as the mounting point, something simple. So
Yeah.
the simpler the design, the easier it is to print. Okay, so that's that. Add the mountain points. Then on the top of the outer hull, you add the Rodin coil like we discussed, with the mounting points, and then the dodecahedron right here. So that all, those are all 5-minute tasks. They're really quick because most of it's just copy paste. Okay, so next you add the copper winding to the C-shaped electromagnets like we talked about, right?
Yeah.
You understand that part,
Yes.
right? Okay, great. So, then we get to the central octahedron. Now we know you're going to have to expand the design a little bit, which is fine. Just copy out everything, just expand it slightly. It has 7 octahedrons, 3 millimeter thickness each. And I labeled it which one's which, if you want to do like colors so you can tell the difference. So the outermost is copper. The second layer is iron. Third layer is copper. And those 3 layers are an electromagnet. So have them weave together, have like a fabric design where they're all touching each other.
How much thickness between you? I mean,
every octahedron is 3 millimeters, and then the stuff, everything's fine touching, because if you look at the 4th octahedron after the electromagnet, it has holes in it, just like those plate capacitors you made. Where it has Swiss holes. That this one has that, but it's in an octahedron shape. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's the 4th one. The 5th layer is aluminum, just fine. 6th layer, another zirconium with holes. And then the 7th layer is a copper with a spark gap. And really important to add those spark gaps. If this is the top of the octahedron, this is the bottom, the spark gap should be just slightly apart, not touching.
Okay, okay.
Because
But
that
how you get the
displaces the
material
energy.
print?
Huh?
You make the print, you go print the cover, you go print
We
aluminum?
print this, the whole thing we print. The only thing we're not printing is the powder for the crystalline power cell, the piezoelectric generator. We add that in later. That's why we're making these ones with holes. You know, certain like the plate capacitors, those are going to need the powder. There's the zirconium with holes, those are going to need it. So when you make each of these octahedrons, right, make sure there's some type of Russian nesting doll where it's like a screw mechanism or something where we can take them apart, add in the powder, and screw them back together. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I have to
So
do
try to keep it as simple as possible. The simpler the design, the
okay.
easier to print. Okay, so that shouldn't take more than 15 minutes. Okay, then you do the outer octahedrons. These are the royal blue ones. These only have 3. These are much simpler. These are just like the innermost of the central capacitor, where it's just aluminum on the outside, zirconium with holes again on the center, and then the third one is copper, and of course the spark gap. That all should take 15 minutes. You do one and then copy paste to the other ones. Then review all designs, make sure they're all 3 millimeter thickness or greater, make sure everything's spinning correctly, all that good stuff. I estimate that shouldn't take more than an hour or 2 max. So theoretically, if you just did this right now, we could have this done today and start printing. And I'd really like to start printing tomorrow at the latest, if possible. You think you could run through all this today and just hammer it out?
Definitely, I'll go keep focus on it. All right.
Okay.
And I will see. You can see the progress. And if I need any question, definitely I'll go text you.
Yeah, if you have any questions, just text me or reach out.
Sure.
Because like as long as it's smaller, the entire design, like obviously you want to figure out the outer layering, probably do that. And make sure the whole thing's less than 5 inches total, but leaning towards 3. Our goal is to get to 3.
Okay.
So, you know, just make sure there's enough separation between capacitors, make sure everything's pointing the right way. Rewatch this video if you have any questions. Do you have any immediate questions right now that you might have?
No. Just only now it seemed to me we in a good shape with a lot of things, a lot of requests. So this one portion is clear now, cut clear is good.
Yeah, the only recommendation I would make is just make it look more like a pyramid. Like if you look at the very
is this
second
one,
and third,
this one become like pyramids?
No, the holes I'm talking about. So if you zoom in on the
holes.
The
hole? Oh, okay.
Yeah, zoom in on that. Like it's just like slight tweaks. It just makes it more functional. See how you have the second and third, you have 2 holes?
Yeah.
Where you could have 2 holes and then one hole. Pyramids? Yeah, you know how a pyramid, it's like 4, 3, 2, 1. You do the same thing. So
you can do that. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
That shouldn't
like align it.
Yeah,
align it.
Okay. You can do that the last. You know, that's the most meaningless thing. But it's just
cosmetic stuff. We can
no. What it does is it directs the flow of the electricity, because these 3 plates are a capacitor. So the bottom plate is aluminum, the top plate is zirconium, the middle plate is zirconium, and the top is copper. And that's a plate capacitor. Okay. And the reason there's holes in it is we're putting piezoelectric powder and quartz crystal in it. Just like how a quartz crystal watch makes it function, we're doing the same thing. And we're because it's spinning and expanding and contracting, it creates its own electric charge, just like a piezoelectric disc. If you have any questions, Google piezoelectric disc. What it is, it's a small little ceramic disc where when you vibrate it, it creates a small electric charge, and that's what we're doing.
Regarding to the frame here, also be more than 3 millimeter, right?
Yeah, everything make 3. Pretty much everything.
Everything.
Yeah, because like it makes it so much easier to print, because because it can run over it multiple times. Because like if it's like 2 millimeters, it can only get one thing, and then it's like, you know, if it has one little error, it's done.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have any more questions on that? Because
I'm really good. Give me the task list you have. Send me a copy of it. I go through it, and but so far I do have enough to before I start reading. So I have to do a lot of work here.
Yeah, I would say an hour or 2 max to get this finished. It's just
I,
I
I will, the point here I said, I have in the design in beginning is a scalable.
mhm.
And this one, it's helping me now. It's like way back for me to get the privilege of changing quickly. So
Yeah.
yeah, so if I change one dimension here, everything would change with me.
Perfect.
Yeah. So
Okay. Yeah,
I'll go
just
try.
keep that the final thing less than 5 inches, like
Yes. Okay.
let's say 4.2 inches. That might be where it end up.
Yes. Okay. I see the now I see the boundaries. It doesn't how
Yeah,
that sounds
yeah.
good. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I like setting it as small as possible and see what we can do. Because like as we do more tests and as we start printing this, there's going to be certain things we'll learn that we can tweak the design and do things like that. But
Sure.
we just want to get printing right now, so we want to have everything finalized that needs to work right now, and then we'll move on from there.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Okay,
Thanks so
great.
much. I really
All
appreciate
right.
it. Thank you so much for your
Yeah.
time.
Thanks for your work. It's going great. Honestly just put in an hour or two today. Go through that checklist. We can be done today, and at latest tomorrow. And if you have any more questions, if you need anything else, just let me know. Okay.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
Talk to you soon, Mo.
Take care. Bye.